Guys, so we left off at greatest common factor, GCF, and we were working on the greatest of the common factor of 24 and 30. So we counted, well, we said that 1 goes into 12, 2 goes into 12, 3 goes into 12, 4, etc. 31 goes into it. Now if you look for the greatest common factor, that means the biggest. And if you compare, you will see that they have the biggest one is 6. So the greatest common factor is 6. Okay, next word. Next vocabulary word we have is least common denominator. And then we are going to call that, for short, we're going to call that LCD, least common denominator. And the least common multiple of the denominators of two fractions. Okay, so for an example, you're going to have 2/3 and 1/6. Okay, and then we're going to do our formula. And we're going to take 2/3 and we're going to multiply them by 2. And 2 times 2 is 4, and 3 times 2 is 6. And then we're going to take 1/6 and we're going to multiply that by 1. And we're going to get 1/6. So 6 would be the least common denominator. Okay? Least common multiple and we're going to call that LCM, least common multiple. The least multiple other than 0 common to sets of multiples. Now, if we let's find the least common multiple of 4 and 6. So we'll do 4 up here and 6 down here. Okay, let's count by 4. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, and 36, and on and on and on. Okay, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, and we could keep counting by 6s. But we are going to see what the least common multiples are. So let's go look. The least means smallest, right? So let's first see. 4, 6, 8, 12, 12. So we got 12 and 12. What else do they have in common? 24 and 24. And 36 and 36. Okay, but they want us to find the least, the smallest common multiple. And that would be the smallest that they have in common is 12. So let's just come up here because I'm running out of room. Okay, so let's just say LCM of 4 and 6 is 12. Boom. Okay, next page. We have 3 more words, okay? So the next one we have is multiple. Keep forgetting to highlight our words. And a multiple of a number is the product of that number and any whole number Okay, so for example, if I were to take 7, a multiple of 7, let's count by 7, okay? So 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. So we're going to have 1 times 7. That equals 7, right? And then we're going to have 2 times, what gives us 14? Good, 7. And then we're going to have 21. And using a 7, what's that? 3 times, you got it, 7 equals 21. Let's just put a 7 on all of these. Okay, so now 28. 4 times 7 is 28. What times 7 is 35? Good. 5 times 7 is 35. What times 7 is 42? Good. 6 times 7 is 42. Those are multiples, okay? And then we've got numerator. You know what a numerator is. It's on the top. Let's highlight it. The top number in a fraction it tells how many of the equal parts that are being used. Okay, so it's just kind of like our denominator, but this one, the numerator's on top. So we have 5/8 equals 5 divided by 8, or 5 divided by 8. Again, this doesn't work because 8 is bigger than 5, so that's when you, if you were solving, you'd get decimals, right? But if I were to do this in a model for you, I would make my box, and it would have 8 parts, right? So 2, 4, 6, and 8. And then the shaded in is the numerator. And our numerator, remember, it was 5/8. So our numerator is going to be shaded in. Out of the 8 parts, we're going to be shading 5. And there's your numerator, okay? Now, our last word is simplest form. Very important. Usually, all the time when we're solving fractions, we don't stop until we get to the simplest form. Okay, simplest form is a fraction in which the greatest common factor, or GCF, of the numerator and the denominator is 1. Simplest form. So remember, that comes down to our formula. So if I have 8/12,
yeah,
and I want to get it to its simplest form, I'm going to say what number goes into both an 8 and a 12. So I know that a 4 goes into both, so I'm going to do the formula this time to get simplest form. I'm going to take the 8/12, divide it by the 4, and that will get me to my smallest, simplest form. So 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So this is your simplest form. Okay, so I only have about 3 minutes left until the timer goes off. So I'm going to upload the rest of this vocab, and then when we come back to the next link, so you're going to have, you may have 4 for this one lesson because they're just increments of 13 minutes. We'll come back and we'll start the lesson after this, okay? So stay tuned.